Oh, Jin, I'm very happy you're sitting on the other part of the world, and you will give me some information about the coronavirus as well about astrology. I have the only expert about Chinese astrology, and Dr.Jin Peh will introduce himself. Please, Jin.
Thank you, Petra. Hello from Australia. Nice to see you today. And yes, I've been teaching Chinese astrology for around 6 years now. I've written 3 books about it with my teacher, Lily Chung, and I've written 4 books by myself about the 4 different types of elements found in the charts, water, metal, fire, and wood. So now we're working on the Earth book this year.
Oh.
So yes, so we're talking about the coronavirus. Unfortunately, it's really affected the world in this year, which is the metal red year. And in Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine and metaphysics, metal represents the lungs. So obviously, coronavirus attacks the lungs. I also train as a medical doctor in Australia. So yes, I have some medical background there. So from a Chinese metaphysical point of view, obviously the metal energy needs to be reduced in intensity for the situation to improve. And the April coming up is actually the metal dragon month, so metal energy is still very strong. Actually, it's the yang metal dragon month. And in the following month, May, it's actually the yin metal snake month. And within the snake, there's also a lot of metal. So then the good news is in June, we have the water horse month. So both the elements, water and fire, are actually not that helpful to metal. I mean, water exhausts metal and fire controls metal. So I'm hoping, and I'm saying positive, that perhaps by June, when the weather is also warmer in the northern hemisphere, that the situation will improve. I mean, of course, we have other factors to consider. Many countries in Europe and also around the world, including Australia and the US and the UK, we are now introducing lockdowns and travel bans to close the borders to prevent the human transmission of the coronavirus.
But this is so difficult. I think I always thought the red have something to do with moving and go around. But we stop everything, have stopped. What do you think about this? Why we are stopped everything?
Well, I think from even we can look at this from a yin-yang perspective, because in Chinese metaphysics and in Chinese philosophy, when something goes extreme yin, then we go extreme, then we have to head back towards the yang direction. And similarly, when you go extreme yang, you have to head back in the yin direction. So perhaps this is just a reflection of the world addressing itself, because we have become so globalized and everything has gone into the direction of accessibility, globalization. Travel became like taking a plane is like taking a bus, and everybody is going to visit all the important cities in the world, interesting cities of the world. And perhaps this is just one way of the universe telling ourselves that we have to find our roots again. We have to be stable, and we have to find our home ground again and reduce the traveling and appreciate what we have. It's just carbon emissions were just increasing, and some people feel that this has created climate change and increasing in the weather and all that. I mean, Australia had bushfires this summer in Australia. So perhaps this is just a way of the universe correcting itself and trying to show us that we cannot take our freedom for granted, that we should not abuse our privileges of traveling. I mean, with now the borders are getting shut, airlines are no longer flying. You know, we really cannot take air travel and free borders for granted.
And what do you think about the economical reason? Which parts or which companies are really suffering and which companies will improve?
Well, I mean, for sure, right now, I mean, air travel, hospitality, tourism, people who are working as guides and working in logistics for the travel industry, I mean, they are all suffering. And also education to a certain extent, because let's say over here in Australia, a lot of the students are from overseas. They are from Asian countries, and this is a major source of revenue for Australian educational institutes. So for sure, education will also suffer in certain countries. And also in America and England and European countries as well. So tourism, education, hospitality, they're all very hit. In these sort of lockdown situations, non-essential services like, for example, beauty therapy, cinemas, restaurants, they are all also very much affected. I mean, the businesses which are definitely doing well in this time of crisis are the supermarkets, food providers, and also pharmacies, medical providers. But of course, they're very, very stressed. And I've spoken to friends who own pharmacies here in Australia, and they're saying that the supply chain is struggling to keep up with the demand. And this is also so with supermarkets, especially when people start panic buying. Obviously, since I was a doctor, and I've been talking to my friends in the medical field, and it's of course now become a very risky, dangerous field for them, because they have to take extra precautions in that they cannot get infected with this disease. And over in my old hometown of Perth, it is well now known in the media that one of the doctors over at the Royal Perth Hospital has become infected. So yes, I mean, yeah, this is. I mean, of course, pharmacies, medical profession, nursing profession as well, and supermarkets. You know, the food providing professions, they are in demand right now, but they also have a lot of stress and tension involved.
Yes, and have it to do something with elements, because every profession have an element. Do you think because airplane or traveling agencies are more related to the fire, and because we have a strong metal water, and for this, or how you come to the idea that this professions have suffering, and which profession have a more positive input, or
Sure.
does it only, it's only logical? What do you think about?
Yeah, I mean, definitely we have to keep into account logic, but it's interesting that you mentioned the elements, because food and vegetables, they fall under wood, and also medical professions also under wood. So they are all in demand right now, but they are also being attacked by the metal. I mean, pharmacies also considered wood, because originally a lot of medicine comes from herbs. So all these wood professions are under stress right now, even though they are in demand because of what's happening with the virus.
Yeah. Yeah, not easy our life today. But what do you think about the future? Is it finished in July or June when the horse appears, or does it comes again in the autumn or winter time? Do we have stress in the winter time as well in this year?
Well, I mean, what we've seen over in Asian countries like Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, who had more experience with this issue during SARS back in 2003, they noted that with their local controls, they were able to control the community transmission in their various countries. But now both Singapore, Hong Kong have reported that most of their new cases are actually returning residents and citizens from foreign countries. And this problem was not that present back in 2003 during SARS, because the world was not that globalized yet. I mean, people were not taking as many trips on airplanes, and people were not traveling as much. But now in 2020 or in 2019, you know, air travel has linked the world. So I think the governments are doing the right thing by closing borders and making sure that the residents stay at home. For example, certain countries now have banned, or in Australia they have strongly recommend or advise citizens and residents from traveling outside of Australia. And Australia has closed down its borders to foreigners from Friday, Australia and New Zealand as well. So maybe perhaps with the government intervention and the man aspect of this, we are able to control the situation better. And perhaps when autumn comes, if we are able to control community transmission, and this thing will not repeat itself. Because I think we have all are learning our lessons right now.
Yes, and what do you think 2021?
Well, I think, 2021 is also another strong metal year. So hopefully this will, the world will learn how to control this. And for people who are using metal as a useful element, then next year will be a better year for everyone.
Yes.
for those
So
people.
I'm very happy about this interview. I think it introduced very well. What do you think? What is your advice, your personal advice about astrology, or what do you? Only for one statement. The last question. One statement. The last statement.
Well, sure. I think astrology is an indication of what heaven has given you. But of course, we have our own Earth's contribution, which is the environment, your house that you live in, Feng Shui, and also man, which is our own actions. So I think the word is astrology and Feng Shui can do so much, and it is also your own actions which are the most important. So please be responsible during this period. Listen to what the government has to say from your country, their advice on your own interactions and activities, and please be safe and use your own wisdom, intelligence, life experience, and decision to protect yourself and your family.
And I think have a good feng shui, because now you have to stay at home.
Yes, for sure.
If you don't like your house, you have a problem.
Exactly. So now that we're all forced to stay indoors, yes, the feng shui of your house is very, very important. So as we see, all three things work together: astrology, feng shui, and your own actions.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much, Jin. I will close the interview now and wish you the best. Thank you. And we see us in September, because you're coming to Germany to teach level 1 and level 4 for the Chinese astrology. I'm very happy about your students are very happy that you're teaching so deep knowledge, and I introduce sometimes my students and they are so happy because you as well support them after the class and help them to improve in the knowledge. They're very excited about especially the level 4 students like me.
Oh, thank you.
I'm happy to see you. Goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.